I'm Lee from Ignite Your Being, and welcome to today's session, which is very much focused about our arms. Okay, so a lot of upper body stuff for today. So for today's session, ideally you could do with a belt or something that resembles a belt, so a dressing gown cord or even a tie. And if you do have two bricks, that would be helpful for the end, but don't stress it if you don't. So I invite you today to start in a child's pose position. So join your big toes together, take your heels apart, make a little bowl shape with your feet if that's possible to nestle your bum down into. And then you're going to allow your body to come forward. Now take your knees just apart enough so you can rest the sides of your body on the inside of your legs and stretch your arms forward. If you are really tight in your hips, you can afford to take your knees a little bit wider. However, if you are quite flexible, that tends to make you overarching your back. So just see what works better for your body. Extend your hands forward and just see if you can bring your forehead towards the floor. If your forehead doesn't comfortably reach the floor and you feel like you're straining in your neck, then just put something underneath your head. And your aim in child's pose is to get this lovely stretch from your hips to your fingertips today. So try and really plant your bum down firmly on your feet and reach as much as you can into your fingertips. Feel that length and stretch in your body. Take a few breaths, and as you breathe into this pose, maybe see if you can encourage a softness in your armpits, your chest and your belly. And one thing about this posture is that it does allow you to connect to that sense of your back breathing, so you can feel your back ribs expand and release as you take a slightly deeper breath. Just focus on that movement for 1 or 2 breaths. Just centering yourself for your practice. Now just lifting your head up, we're going to stay in this position, but I'd like you to bring your arms about 45 degrees towards the right. Now as you do this, lift up and shift your body weight so you're coming out at an angle rather than making a C shape with your spine. So as you reach into your arms now, your right side of your body is likely to be laying on your right thigh. So keep reaching, and at this point it may be that your head doesn't reach the floor now, so just let your head hang if that's the case. I'd like you to keep that sense of your bum as close to your heels as possible, and this time really reach into your left hand. Encourage that stretch from your left hip, down the side of your left body, all the way towards your left fingertips. Again, just taking some soft, smooth breaths, encouraging that stretch in the left side of your body, but also encouraging that sense of release. One more breath in, one more breath out. And then bring your hands through center. Let's go over to the left. So arms over to the left. Lift your body up so you're coming out at a nice 45-degree angle. Bring your body forward. Head can either hover or find the floor if that's accessible today. Maybe feeling that connection between the left side of your abdomen, the left chest on your left thigh, and reach a little more actively into your right fingertips. Feeling that stretch in your right hip all the way through the side of the body towards your right fingertips. A few more soft breaths. And then gently releasing out of the pose, come back to center. Find your cat-cow position, so hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. And with an inhale, drop your belly, arch your spine into your cow. Engage your shoulder blades, lift your tailbone. Now as you come into your cat, exhale, round up, tuck your chin, tuck your tailbone, but make it a moving cat as you push your body weight back into your child's pose position. With an inhale, place your forearms down, scoop your body forward into your cow, engage shoulder blades, lift tailbone, and again, exhale into your cat, rounding up fully. Keeping that rounded action as you push your body weight back. With an inhale, place forearms, scoop forward into your cow. Let's do one more. Exhale, round yourself up into your cat. Push your body weight back. With an inhale, place your forearms down, scoop yourself forward, arch through the spine. And then just find your neutral spine. I invite you to thread your right arm underneath your left. Find the floor with the right side of your head and your right side of your shoulder. Now you can stay here and just extend your left hand overhead for a little bit of balance to feel you can open up through the left armpit and left chest. If you'd like to go a little step further, you can raise your left hand up towards the ceiling. Lightly press down into the floor with your right arm, reach a little higher into your left fingers and take a bit of a twist. Light, soft breaths. And then release yourself out of the pose. Lift yourself up, thread your left arm underneath your right. Place your left shoulder on the floor, left side of your head. Either extend the right hand above your head, or you can take it up towards the ceiling. As you press the ground away with your left arm, reach a little higher with your right hand. Encourage that stretch rotation through your trunk. And then just gently release yourself out of the pose. Now we're going to do a little bit of wrist work. So on all fours, see if you can turn your hands outwards to face your knees. Now, depending on your wrist flexibility will depend on where your fingers go. Ideally, we would like the middle finger to be facing back, but that might not be there just yet. See what happens. If you've got fairly flexible wrists, then you can put a little bit more weight back into your legs, press down into your fingers, press down into the heel of your hands, and encourage that stretch in your wrists and your forearms. Now you can stay still in the pose, or you can take some gentle rocks backwards and forwards. Now we don't often give our wrists a lot of love, but we expect them to do a lot for us. So just go carefully. Listen to any signals from your wrist that they're not happy and just ease off. If it feels okay, then yes, by all means, push a little deeper into the stretch. Now gently release your hands out, and then this time you're going to flip your hands. So you're going to place the back of your hand onto the floor. There's your other back of your hand onto the floor, and just find that stretch. Now this one can be quite intense. So you may or may not be able to straighten your arms, see how that goes. If you can straighten, maybe see if you can turn your inner elbows to front. And then see, maybe putting a little pressure down into the heel of your hands, maybe leaning back slightly. Just see what works for you today. So the aim is that we are feeling a stretch on our wrist, but it shouldn't be painful. So just, again, listen to what your body is telling you. Take another couple of breaths. Soften and relax into it. And then gently release. Just sit back onto your heels and let's take a few circles. So just take your hands around in a nice big circle. Just encouraging some gentle movement. And then maybe going the other way. Just getting that little bit of movement. Now we're going to move on to doing a little bit of work with your scapula and your shoulder blades. I'm just going to turn my back to you for a moment. So in this position, you're just going to take your hands out in front, and we're going to work on protracting, which is where you're going to push your hands forward as you round across your shoulder blades, and then retract as you squeeze your shoulder blades together. Okay? So protrude, push your hands forward and round, retract, squeeze your shoulder blades, pull back. I'm just going to turn back to the side. Let's go together. So as you protrude, try and keep your body nice and still. Make it about the shoulder blades. And as you retract, there's a tendency to want to push our bellies out. So really focus on it just being about your scapula and your shoulder blades, whichever one you want to refer to. And just see, can you isolate? One more. It can be quite intense. Okay, now release. This time we're going to take our arms up. So just straight up by our ears. And we're going to elevate and depress, so lift and lower. So again, I'll show you from the back. You're going to elevate and lift up. So you feel like you're stretching into your shoulders, into your fingers as your shoulder blades lift. And then you're going to depress as you bring your shoulder blades down. So just lift and lower. So it doesn't have to be an extreme movement, very similar to your protract, retract. Aim to keep your body still as you just make it about your shoulder blades, which can be hard. Sometimes as we depress, there's a tendency to want to move everything. So just make it that little movement in your shoulder blades and relax. Now we're going to put those two together. So you're going to bring your hands out, you're going to flex your hands, okay? We're going to protrude forward, then we're going to depress, then we're going to retract, then we're going to elevate. So we're going to push forward, down, back, up, forward, down, back, up. Now see if you can make it more like a circle. So it's a little bit smoother. Body as still as possible. Make it about your shoulder blades. One more time. And then let's go the other way. If you need a bit of a break for your wrist, it's actually quite strong on your wrist when you're flexing your wrist. So, hands out in front again. So this time you're going to retract. You're going to go down. You're going to push forward and you're going to lift. Pull back, down, forward, and lift. Back, down, forward, and lift. One more. Back, down, forward, and lift. All right, just give everything a little bit of a shake out. And come onto all fours. And we're just going to have a little go at doing your retract, protract in this kind of quadruped position. So as you just did, you're going to keep the body as still as possible, and you're going to retract your shoulder blades, and you're going to protract your shoulder blades. Okay, so it's not a cat-cow. You're not arching through your spine. You're moving your shoulder blades. So just see if you can get that isolation. Sometimes it's actually easier having the feedback of the floor. Now if this is feeling quite easy for you, then you can step it up a little bit and come more to a plank position. So just a reminder of your plank, your arms want to be strong and your legs want to be firm. Draw your navel in slightly and just feel firm throughout your body. Now you're going to do the same thing. You're going to retract shoulder blades, you're going to protract. Retract, protract. So just see if you can isolate. There's a tendency to want to move in our bellies and our backs. Just try one more. And then rest down to your knees, take a child's pose. So just sit back, stretch into your fingers, maybe bring your forehead down, even have a little wiggle around your hips, if that feels nice. Okay, now from here we're going to do a little quadruped hover. So instead of retracting or protracting, we're just finding a neutral shoulder blade. So for this, you need to be firm through your arms and firm through your back. So again, you're not arching through your spine at all, your spine just wants to be fairly neutral. Now you tuck your toes under and you just hover your knees off the floor. So as you hold in this position, you should feel your shoulder blades working firmly. You should be holding yourself nice and steady, no retraction, no protraction. At the same time you're working your core muscles, and you probably feel a little bit of work in your legs. Now from here you're going to push into your down dog, and then take your right hand to your left shin for a one-armed down dog, feeling that strength through your shoulder blade. Take your hand back, come back to a hover. So slowly knees come down, they don't touch the ground. Find your neutral shoulder blade, your neutral spine. Pause, feel those muscles stabilizing and engaging. Come back to your down dog. This time your left hand touches your right shin. And again, just finding that one-armed down dog so you feel that strength through the arm and that strength in your shoulder blade. Let's come back to another hover. So knees slowly towards the floor, but don't touch. See if you can just hold it there for a few moments and really feel into those stabilizers in your body. Come to your down dog, right hand to left shin. Feel that strength up through your arm. As you're on one arm, see if you can keep your body nice and balanced rather than twisting in your body. And then right hand down, come back to your hover, Knees towards the floor, find those stabilizing muscles, engage, hold, keep your breath nice and steady. Push back to your down dog, left hand to right shin, find that one-armed down dog, pause there. And then just take your hand down, we'll stay in your down dog. So maybe just invite a little movement into your dog this time. So stretching through your heels, we've not done any leg work as such, so just finding that stretch, maybe having a little wiggle in your hips, maybe getting some movement through your chest, whatever feels good for you today. And then pause, push the ground away, find your inverted V shape, so you're feeling that length in your spine, that lift in your seat bones, maybe that openness in the back of your legs depending on how tight your hamstrings are feeling today. Now we're going to transition from your down dog to a plank position. So you're just going to bring your body weight forward. You may have to just lengthen your toes back slightly, shoulders above your wrist, push away into your heels, find your neutral shoulder blades, find that firmness through your body. Pause and hold. And then push back to your down dog once more. Again, you may just have to adjust your feet. Find that length in your spine, that openness in the backs of your legs. Now we're going to just do that one more time. So just slowly transition yourself forward. Find that firmness through your body. Push your way into your heels. Find length in your neck. Now you can stay here or you can take a one-armed one. So you put the weight into your right hand, your right foot, and you see if you can squeeze your right glute and lift your left hand. You may find a little wobble. And then left hand down. Transfer the weight to your left. Find that glute strength. Lift your right hand. You probably find, like me, one side is harder than the other. Push yourself back to your down dog. And then just walk your feet forward. Bring yourself into a forward bend. So feet can be about hip distance apart. You can take a bend in your knees. Just allow your body to relax down. Planks definitely elevate our heart rates a little. So just find that softness once again with your breath. You can either keep your hands on the floor or you can fold above your elbows and you can take a little sway if you feel you need that in your body today. Soft, smooth breathing. And then from here, push the ground away and just slowly roll yourself up to come to standing. All done. Now, I'd like you to take your belt if you have one. And you're going to just adjust your belt so it's at the right length for yourself, and this will depend on the tightness of your shoulders. So the aim is we're going to hold the belt in our hands, and you're going to take your belt overhead, keeping your arms straight, okay? So if you have to do this kind of thing to come back, you need a longer belt. So just take a moment to find your distance of your belt. With your feet, you're going to stand a little bit wider than hip distance. Just turn your toes ever so slightly in, gives you a little bit more control. And find that strength in your legs. So your legs want to be active. Push down into the floor, lift your quadriceps away from your knees, and find a slight squeeze of your glutes. Take your arms out in front and really pull that belt so it's really strong and straight. Now keeping your body still, all you're going to do is take your arms overhead, keep pulling on that belt, and bring your arms down. So the belt is just going backwards and forwards. Now go slow and steady to begin with. I'm going to show you from the side. You're aiming to keep your body nice and still, okay? There can be a tendency to push our bodies as we do this pose, or even do a little bit of a chicken head, which is often one of my favorites. So just see if you can keep length in your neck, stillness in your body. It's all about your shoulders. And just go backwards and forwards. And just be aware of where you maybe feel that tightness. Breathe into it. Keep pulling hard on the belt. And release. Okay, now you're going to keep your belt. This time you probably want to take your hands a little closer. You're going to take your hands above your head. Bit of a Y-shaped position with your arms, so they're slightly wider than the shoulders. Feet are the same, ever so slightly pointing in, a little bit pigeon-toed. Legs are firm again. Now you're going to hit out into the belt and you're going to take your arms over towards the right. Now as you bend to the right, keep your legs firm, so you're taking a side stretch down the left side of your body rather than popping your hip out. I'll show you the difference. So try not to let your hips pop out, keep your legs firm, make it that side stretch. Feeling that your chest is still open, you're still pulling strongly on that belt. With an inhale, bring your body back up. So it is quite intense for such a simple move. So pull on the belt, inhale, lift it through your body, side bend towards the left, keep those legs firm, keep pulling, particularly with your top arm, keeping that chest open, and use that power in your legs to keep you firm so you can side bend a little more. Inhale, bring yourself back up. Let's just do one more each side. Strong with your belt, bend over to the right, firm legs, open chest. Keep pulling strongly with that top arm. Find it extremely difficult to speak in these positions. Inhale, bring yourself back up, and over to the left. Strong lower body to support your upper body. Find that openness in your chest. And with an inhale, bring yourself back up. Well done. Release your belt. Now you can join your feet together into a more traditional Tadasana, or if for you it feels more comfortable to have your feet ever so slightly apart, that is absolutely fine. Spread your toes, ground yourself down into your mat, stretch down into your fingers, and just find that point of balance where you feel lifted and open through your body. Now take your arms forward. I invite you to interlace your hands together, and as you do that, just try and have your right little finger at the bottom. Turn your palms away and concentrate on opening your fingers. So as you push the palm of your hand away from you, see if you can draw your little fingers and your thumb towards you. So you're really stretching those fingers, giving our texting hands a bit of a break. Now bring your hands up towards the ceiling, and just like you did a moment ago, keep your body nice and still and make the movement come in your arms. I'd like you to imagine there's a heavy weight on your hands and you're pushing that weight to the ceiling. Squeeze your elbows in towards your ears. Opening the palm of your hand, but drawing your little fingers and your thumbs down towards your head. Release your hands down. You can release the stretch, and then let's do it again, but this time when you interlace, your left little finger is going to be on the bottom. It's just a subtle change. Turn the palms away, open up the palm of the hand, arms strong and straight. Body still as you raise your arms up. Imagine that heavy weight that you're pushing to the ceiling as you squeeze your elbows in and feel a little bit more length through your body. And then release yourself down out of the pose. Now next we're going to do Gomukhasana. So for this one you may need your belt depending on your shoulder mobility. So I'm going to turn my back to you. You're going to stand in Tadasana. Belt will be in your right hand should you need it. Now stretch your left arm out towards the side, and then you're going to bend your elbow and take your hand up your back. Now your aim is to bring your hand as high up your back as possible. And as you do this, before you lift your right arm, just take a look at the shoulder and see if you can encourage your shoulder to roll back. It may or may not happen depending on your tightness or flexibility in your shoulder, but that's the direction we're aiming for. Then from there, raise your right arm up towards the ceiling, big stretch into your fingers, bend at your elbow and see, can you take hold of your fingers? If that's not possible today, then take the belt down and hold onto the belt. Now you're trying to bring your elbow up towards the ceiling as your inner arm comes against your ear. And pull with your hands or pull with the belt and feel that length from elbow to elbow. Nothing should be moving in your body. So just feeling that stretch at the right side of your body, encouraging that openness around your left shoulder. Take some soft, smooth breaths, and then gently release out of the pose. And it can be quite a tight one for some of us, so just go carefully with the pose. So belt will go into your left hand should you need it. You may find that you're a little bit imbalanced, one side is easier than the other. Take your right arm out to the side, bend at your elbow, take your hand up your back. So for me personally, this is my tighter side, and I like to use my hand as an encouragement to get my right hand a little higher. Roll your right shoulder back, extend your left hand up towards the ceiling, bend at your elbow, see if you can take hold of fingers or belt. Inner bicep close to your ear as you hit that left elbow up towards the ceiling. Draw your right elbow down to the floor, encouraging your right shoulder to roll back ever so slightly. Just pause and breathe, and just bring your awareness to those tighter areas. Nothing as such to do about them, just awareness. And then gently release out of the pose. Now you don't need your belt. The next one we're going to do, you're going to bring your arms forward. You're going to bend at your elbows. Now you're going to take your right elbow over your left and you're going to wind your hands around. Now some people will be able to get their whole hand together, some people may get a thumb and a pinky or whatever you can get, and if you're really struggling, you can hold a belt. So just work within your limits at the moment. Now from here, you're aiming to lift your elbows away from your chest, your hands away from your face. So you're making a little bit more of a right angle with your arm. And as you do that, you should feel that lovely stretch across your shoulder blades where we were working earlier. Now from this position, we're going to do some circles. So we're going to go clockwise. You're going to lift your elbows up. You're going to take them over towards the right, down, over to the left, and up. Now, by all means, have a little bit of freedom in your body, but a sense of control. So it's a controlled movement as you move around, rather than just letting your whole body go loose. And just again, be aware of where you feel that bit of tightness. It's more than likely going to be on the right side of your body. And then release. Well done. Let's do the same thing other side. So you're going to bend your arms up, left arm over right. Entwine your hands as best you can, fingers, hands, whatever it is that you can find. Elbows up, hands away from face. Then we're going to go anti-clockwise. So lift your elbows up, go over to the left, down, over to the right. So yes, there's a little bit of movement in my trunk, but I'm not kind of just letting everything go. So my legs are still fairly firm. We're just aiming to make the biggest circle we can, encouraging that stretch across your shoulder blades. Well done. Let your arms release. Now, I invite you to come down onto your knees for a bit of a puppy pose. So your knees will be underneath your hips. You're going to stretch your hands forward and aim to get length between hips and fingertips. As you reach into your fingers, just allow your forehead or your chin to come down towards the floor. And the aim is you're trying to get your armpits and your chest a little closer to the floor as you reach on through to your fingertips. Take a few soft breaths. Find that release around your shoulder blades and your chest. And then just gently walk your hands back towards your knees. Now, if you do have a wall, I encourage you to use the wall for your next down dog, okay? If you don't have a wall, then we can just do a normal down dog. I just find this quite helpful. So ideally placing your thumb and your first finger at the wall, something that you can push against. The only thing I would say is if you know that you hyperextend your elbows, probably best to avoid this one and do a normal down dog. So from here, you're going to tuck your toes, you're going to lift off your knees. Now keep your knees bent a little bit, and you're using this pressure against the wall and down into the floor to encourage your chest to move a little closer towards your legs. So you're getting that movement more around your shoulders and your chest area. So pressing down with your hands, pressing into the wall with your hands, strong, straight arms. Can you lift your hips a little higher? Can you move your chest a little closer to your legs? Really encouraging that openness in your chest and in your shoulders. And then without losing that movement of your chest, that lift in your hips, maybe see now if you can straighten your legs. And at this stage, you're probably on quite high toes, like you're wearing good 6-inch heels. Now the key is, can you keep as much height as possible, but bring your heels a little closer to the floor?
This is where it tends to all go wrong. We tend to drop our hips. So slowly, steadily, maybe pause. Maybe encourage that movement of your chest, that lift in your spine and your hips, and maybe take your heels a little closer. Now, as I've mentioned numerous times, our be-all and end-all in down dog is not to get our heels on the floor. It is just a direction. But if you've got the flexibility in your hamstrings and they can reach down, then by all means go there. And then release down onto your knees, sit down onto your heels.
And you probably feel quite worked and open in your chest and your shoulders. Now to finish session today, taking your bricks if you have them. Now you have options to do this supported fish pose. You can either take the high bricks where you lay yourself down. The first brick, so, lost my microphone. The first brick is going to go in between your shoulder blades. So you're just going to lower yourself down, find that comfortable position. So you may just have to move it around until you find the right place. And then your head comes to the next brick. And the aim is to feel this openness in chest, openness in shoulders, relaxing in these areas of our, kind of like our armpit chest. So you can just take your arms to the side, you can pause here with knees bent, or if this feels okay for you, you can carefully stretch your legs out. And just find a softness and a release in the pose. Now if this is too much being on this height, you can do the same thing, but with your bricks on the lower level. So do experiment. Sometimes you can achieve the high brick, but keeping your knees bent is less strong. But if for whatever reason it just feels too much to be on the high bricks to begin with, then go to the low ones. But I do invite you just to pause here for a few moments, close your eyes, relax as much as you can in your body, especially feeling that you can release around your shoulders, around your armpit chest, and really encouraging that sense of openness in our heart space. Allow your breath to soften, nice, smooth, light breaths through your nose. And just encourage that release throughout your body. Especially feeling with each exhalation that you can relax a little more, particularly in your upper body, which is where we've done most of the work today. Now you can stay here a little longer if you wish. If you feel that you've had enough time in this open pose, then just bend your knees once more so your feet are flat on the floor. Take your hands to your head. Support your neck, gently lift your head up. As you come up, take your bricks away and just lay yourself down flat for a moment. Stretch your legs out. Take your arms slightly to the side and find your Shavasana. And I encourage you to stay here, find some peace and calm within for as long as you can spare today. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll hopefully see you again soon.